Hello and welcome to Drama Recaps. Today we will delve into the 2022 American mystery drama film called Where the Crawdads Sing. Spoilers ahead. The story starts on October 30th, 1969, when two young boys find a dead body near a marsh while riding their bikes. The police identify the body as Chase Andrews. The medical expert says Chase hit his head before falling from a height. Fingerprints are found on the railing, but there are also red wool fibers at the scene. At a local bar that night, people talk about the death. A woman suggests that a mysterious girl living in the marsh, Kia, might be involved. The police decide to search for her in the marsh and find her home. It's full of odd things, but Kia is not there. They also find a red wool hat. Kia, who is hiding, gets found by the police. They chase her with a boat and catch her when she tries to escape by swimming in the swamp. She's arrested and taken to jail. A lawyer named Tom Milton visits her. He wants to understand her situation better to help her. Locals think of Kia as the swamp girl and see her as crazy. After Tom leaves, Kia reveals that she once had a family. In her past, she lived with her siblings and parents. Her mom was caring, but her dad was cruel. He even hit her. A neighbor boy, Tate, stood up for her. Her dad also abused her mom. Kia couldn't sleep because of the constant fighting between her parents. One day, her mom left and never came back. Then her siblings left, too. Kia was left alone with her mean dad. She learned to navigate the marshes by boat. One day she got lost, but Tate helped her find her way back. For the first time, Kia felt brave. She asked her dad for food, and he went to buy corn grits and whiskey. The shopkeeper was surprised that Kia didn't go to school. Kia decides to go to town, even though she's scared of cars and people. She attends school, but the other kids make fun of her ragged clothes and lack of reading skills. Humiliated, she runs away. For a time, her father becomes nicer. He takes her fishing and tells her to not trust anyone. A letter from her mother arrives, but her dad burns it before Kia can read it. Heartbroken, she collects the ashes. That night, her father also burns all items that remind him of his former wife. Then, one day, he simply vanishes, leaving Kia alone. To survive, Kia gathers shellfish and sells them at a local store. A woman named Mabel helps her out by giving her shoes and clothing. Back to the current events, Kia's trial starts. People in the court shout that she's guilty. Her lawyer, Tom, suggests she make a plea deal, but Kia insists she's innocent. Despite an aggressive prosecutor, Tom defends her well. During the trial, Kia remembers meeting Tate in the woods back in 1962. She finds a box of seeds and a letter. Tate offers to teach her to read and write, and their outdoor lessons start. Kia improves quickly and Tate is proud. They meet 3 times a week to read together. Soon, rumors circulate that Tate is involved with the swamp girl. His father advises him to focus on going to university. At one point, authorities visit a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Jump, asking about Kia since she's underage. They lie, saying she lives with her dad. Kia is scared when she learns this. Tate suggests that Kia could go to boarding school, but she doesn't want to live among strangers. They share a romantic moment and kiss. Later, Tate surprises Kia with a birthday cake she had forgotten about. Moved by the romantic atmosphere, they almost make love. Just when things seemed romantic, Tate gets cold feet, worried about the future. As fall nears, he shares with his dad and Kia that he's going to university. Kia doesn't want him to go, but Tate feels there's no future for him in this rural area. They say their goodbyes, and Tate gives Kia a list of publishers interested in her nature sketches and notes. He leaves, and Kia remains, focusing on studying and painting the marshes. Come July 4th, the day Tate promised to visit, Kia dresses up and waits for him on the beach, but he never shows up. Heartbroken, she burns some of her drawings. The failed romance drives her even deeper into her love for nature. Meanwhile, her trial continues. Her lawyer, Tom Melton, makes a strong case that Chase's death was an accident. Kia thinks back to 1968. She recalls developers wanting to build a hotel on her marshland. Chase Andrews introduces himself to her and suggests a picnic. Kia learns that she can own her property by paying an $800 tax. She doesn't have the money, but remembers Tate's list of publishers. She meets up with Chase for the picnic. He kisses her, but she pulls away. He asks for a chance to make it right and takes her to a watchtower in the swamp. For the first time, Kia sees her home from above. Chase then begins spending a lot of time with her, making her feel less lonely. Back in the courtroom, questions arise about how red wool fibers from Kia's had ended up on Chase's jacket. Tom finds a way to explain it. Kia recalls kissing Chase and then getting news from a publisher willing to print her work. Chase has good news too, he's received a job promotion. They decide to celebrate, and Chase even talks about marrying her. He needs to travel for work and invites Kia to come along, despite her fears of being around people. So, Kia agrees to go with Chase despite her fears. They stay overnight at a motel and share an intimate moment. After, Chase says he loves her and Kia gifts him a seashell necklace. But this necklace is never found on Chase's body later, causing his mom to blame Kia for his death. The lawyer points out that the necklace isn't found in Kia's home either. As Kia thinks back, she remembers being seen with Chase by Tate, who had returned. Tate even hears Chase bragging about being with Swamp Girl, leading to a fight between them, stopped by Mr. Jumpin'. Tate visits Kia later, apologizing for leaving. He says he left out of fear of missing opportunities but now realizes his mistake. Kia, however, can't forgive him. Kia remembers finding out that Chase was engaged to someone else. Heartbroken, she avoids him. He tries to talk but leaves when he can't find her. She screams in frustration on an empty beach. On a brighter note, her book gets published and she uses the money for home renovations. One day, her brother Jody, who has been in the army, shows up. He doesn't know about their other siblings but shares that their mom died of leukemia. Jody is welcome to visit anytime. Kia gifts a copy of her book to the Jumpins, who have always supported her. Chase finds Kia later, but she avoids talking to him. His friends laugh at him. He then tracks her down in the forest, saying he must marry someone else but loves only her. When she refuses, he turns violent, but she manages to scare him off with loud threats. A local fisherman witnesses this. Kia now lives in fear. One day, she sees Chase in the swamp and finds her home trashed later. She hides near her home at night, but it's Tate who shows up, not Chase. Seeing a bruise on her face, he realizes Chase is the one who hurt her. Kia shares with Tate that she's going to Greenfield to meet her book publisher. Tate, seeing she's chilly, gives her his red hat. Now, Tate is in court testifying. Back then, Mr. Jumpin had questioned Kia about the bruises on her body. Kia chose not to tell him, believing the police would blame her for what Chase did. In the courtroom, a witness confirms that Kia got on a bus to Greenfield on October 29. The publisher also testifies, saying they had dinner with a shy Kia. Although her lawyer wants her to address the jury, Kia refuses, fearing the people who have tormented her all her life. Finally, the verdict is out. Kia is set free as there's no solid evidence against her. She thanks her lawyer Tom, Mr. Jumpin', and the publisher who have supported her. Her brother takes her back to her beloved swamp. Kia and Tate reconcile and get married. She writes more books and her life improves. Sadly, Mr. Jumpin', someone she deeply loved, passes away. As they age, Kia and Tate spend their entire lives in the swamp. Tate eventually finds Kia lifeless in a boat. While going through her belongings, he finds Chase's missing seashell necklace. Tate is shocked, realizing Kia was actually guilty all along, a secret that the swamp now keeps forever.